Well, hello and welcome to Senior Living Live. This is our pre-show, and today we are talking about music in senior living. Hey everybody, I am Chris, and I am joined today with our guest, Paul Kelly. How you doing today,
Good morning.
Paul?
I'm doing great.
Good. So this is Paul's first time on the show, and he's getting used to things with us. We're still getting used to things, working through our technology and everything. As you can see on the screen, we're starting in about 2 minutes. But before that, I wanted to tell you about a couple of important things. So next week, as you know, we do our shows every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Well, next week, we're not going to do a show. That would be what is next Friday?
4th, I think.
May 4th. That's right. Yeah. So May 4th, no show. You can come here and you can watch past shows, but there will not be a live show next Friday, May 4th. And that is because we are preparing for a special presentation show the following week, and we'll get some more information out to you if you follow us, which you can do at, the easiest thing to do is just to type the word show in the comments right below this video, and we'll send you a Facebook message. But pay attention to the Arbor Company's Facebook page. You can look us up on YouTube. It's there as well. And hopefully in the next week we'll have the new seniorlivinglive.com website up and running where you can find this information. But what we are doing, this is our special announcement, for Thursday, May 10th, and it's going to be in the evening. We don't have an actual show time set, but we've got a community in the Atlanta area named the Arbor at Bridge Mill. And you may have recognized Brooke, who's been on the show before. She's from that community, so she's joined us here in this seat. And so that community it's been open for a few months, and they're actually having their grand opening celebration. And so we're going to be at the grand opening celebration and celebrating with them and interviewing different people who were involved in the creation of that community, giving you some behind the scenes tours of the community, some really fun stuff we are going to be doing there. That's Thursday, May 10th. So be on the lookout for that. And then we'll do our regular scheduled show on Friday, May 11th. So again, this is Senior Living Live. We're talking all about music in senior living today. We will be back in just a few moments with the start of our show. Music and senior living, why in the world is it important? I mean, there's music in your life, right? But in other places, why do we have music in senior living communities? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Hey everybody, my name is Chris, and this is Senior Living Live. This is a show that's all about senior living. It's all about answering the questions, pulling back the curtain, so to speak, on all the topics related to senior living so that you can learn a little bit more about it and get your questions answered and ultimately live the life that you want to live. That is our mission. Now, I'm joined today by my esteemed colleague, Paul Kelly. How you doing today, Paul?
Good morning. I'm great.
Good morning. Good. Thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Paul has been chomping at the bits to join this show since we started. But no, we are very excited to have Paul with us today. Before we get into that topic a little bit, I do want to talk about a couple things I talked about in our pre-show. Now, we normally go live with a new episode of Senior Living Live. This is the 18th show, by the way.
That's amazing.
We've been doing this for 18 weeks
Congratulations.
straight up until next week, because we're not doing a show next week on May 4th. Thank you. Friday, May 4th. I don't have a calendar in front of me, and I can't remember it. So we normally go live on Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern, but we are not doing that on Friday, May 4th. So if you come looking for us, it's not a problem with your computer. It's just we're not here. That's because we're preparing for a special show that we are going to do on Thursday, May 10th. And it's at a brand new community that recently opened. We're going to be celebrating their grand opening with them. There's a red carpet. There's going to be ball gowns and tuxedos and all of this stuff. And I'm going to be joined by Michelle Hamilton, who was with us last week. And she's going to be co-hosting the show with me. We've got some special guests coming in. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Great.
Should be good.
Sounds
You going to watch?
I sure will.
You going to tune in? All right. We might commandeer you to come and run a camera or something.
All right.
So if you're available. So Paul, thank you for joining the show today.
My pleasure.
I've been looking forward to having you on here. Tell us a little bit about what it is you do at the Arbor Company.
I'm part of the operations team here at the Arbor corporate office in Atlanta, and my direct responsibility is to support the communities that Arbor has in its portfolio.
Okay.
And I spend most of my time out at the communities supporting the teams and
traveling
helping
around.
them take good care of our residents.
Okay, yeah, taking good care of your residents, that is a huge part of everything that we do.
Right.
And so tell me a little bit how you got into taking care of residents and how you got into your career doing this.
Yeah, it's actually an interesting story. I set forth after high school to embark upon a career in music as a singer and a church organist and a choral conductor, and went through undergrad and grad school. And after grad school, I answered an ad in a local paper for a nursing home that was looking for someone to come and play music for the residents. And the administrator of that nursing home, way back many years ago, understood the importance of music with seniors and sought to hire someone with a background in music to help support the management team there. And from that point on, I realized that was a great career for me, working in senior living. I've been in senior living ever since, but still feel the importance of music in what we do every day.
That's great. So I didn't realize that. I mean, I knew that you had been doing senior living for a long time. I knew that you were a musician, but I did not realize that the two of those came together in a very special way.
And what was interesting was this was kind of before a lot of people had understood the importance of music, and I spent a lot of time working with frail dementia residents and getting them to kind of respond to me through favorite songs that they like to hear, and realize that, gosh, someone can't tell me my name, but they can sing the words to a song they remember, and it was pretty neat. So,
yeah. Well, music I think is so important in everyone's life. I mean, it's important in your life. It's important in my life in different ways. But it's, in my mind, music is kind of like food.
Mm-hmm.
Like, right? It's something that everyone can appreciate in different ways and kind of have their own tastes and all of that type of thing. So why do you think music is important to someone who is in senior living or who may be considering a move to senior living?
Well, I think there's a couple of reasons. First of all, as you said, it's part of our life. I mean, many of us now can kind of recall a soundtrack in our life. We know what songs we like to listen to if you're going for a run or going to the gym, or what type of music you want to play if you're sitting down to dinner. And that doesn't change for our seniors. I mean, they still have those same soundtracks in their head. And so by specifically focusing on bringing music into a senior's life, it helps them in a number of ways. It helps them with some psychological benefits, some physical health benefits, and it actually has been shown to improve memory in some of our folks with memory impairment. So I think we learn that, something that's very simple to execute, putting on some music and allowing people to listen to it, has a lot of very positive benefits.
Yeah, it seems like it does. And I mean, I know it enhances my mood,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I would assume that it does for everyone.
And I mean, you think about, a lively piece of music might make you feel a little more energetic during the day, or something calm and relaxing may help you fall asleep, or sometimes it'll bring back memories. I mean, we all have those songs in our head that when you hear it on the radio, you know exactly where you were and exactly what you're doing at that time when you heard that song for the first time. And that memory that's kind of so far back in our minds serves to come to the forefront when we hear that song.
Yeah, I've heard that somewhere. I don't know if it was in training here or just reading that music, like tonal memory, is a very strong memory trigger, as is like smells. Right. And so you've seen that in communities with.
And I think one of the most interesting things is that it's individual, and we always focus. I always work with our teams on how to provide individual service for our residents. I mean, every senior is not the same. We want to make sure we're providing the services and the care that they need, and so developing someone's individual soundtrack for them through a music and memory program, or just with entertainment or whatever we're doing in the community, is a really good way to show that nod to individualization of care that we provide.
The individual, so I think the individualization is a big piece of that, and we're going to get into that in a little bit when we talk about some of the programs that we have. Before we do that, I want to cut to, we've got a couple of comments coming in from Facebook. I've got, we told you Lemoyne would be joining. That's my grandmother. She says, good to see you. So good to see you too. And we've got Martine, who's joining. She's from one of the Arbor communities. Hi, she says, hi, Paul. So
hey, Martine.
Wave to Martine. And then Michelle says that Arbor Terrace Shrewsbury loves live music. So up at Arbitrary Shrewsbury in New Jersey. Glad to hear that you guys love the live music too, and I think live music is a big component of
It
that.
is.
We get a lot of musicians coming in, people playing. Do you play music when you go to the communities?
I try to.
Yeah.
I'm usually somewhere between a plane and a rental car most of the time. But actually, in setting aside my goals for next year, that we all kind of sit down and figure what is something I want to focus on for next year. I've kind of made a commitment that once a month I'll go out to a community and play the piano and sing. And then what I'd like to do is in the fall sometime next year, schedule an organ concert up in Marietta for all of our residents and that are in the Marietta area that could bring a bus of folks there. So
that'll be
try
fun.
try to focus on that because it's enjoyable for me, but it also brings a lot of great joy to the residents as well.
Yeah, that's great. And you're a free entertainer.
I'm a free entertainer.
In many ways.
That's right.
Not all the time, but great. So, specifically, so we've kind of talked about the benefits of music in the communities. And by the way, if you're watching, we would love to hear your comments. Just type them in right below the video that you're watching, and let us know experiences that you've had with music and senior living, or even like what's your favorite song. Let me ask you, what's your favorite song right now? What you listening to?
Oh, see, that's hard to tell because
Yeah.
I just have such a wide variety of stuff.
I tell you, I will get on a song and listen to it over and over and over until I completely, like, for weeks, and that's just the one song.
What's your favorite song right now?
Right now, it is this song. What is it called? I don't even know. 100 billion times or something. It's a church song, but it's from this group in Australia. I'm kind of into. But you were mentioning like the memory and how music can change your mood.
Yes.
And whenever I hear that, I think of the Ghostbusters theme from what's his name, Ray something from the 80s, and that song, like if I'm working out or if I'm playing with the kids or whatever, you ride the treadmill or something, that song comes on, you go a little bit faster.
Right.
It just kind of picks you up. And then there's other songs that I've got a playlist on my phone that I listen to if I'm on an airplane or if I'm in a hotel and I just can't sleep and I'm
So
trying to
do you
fall
have your
asleep.
playlist customized based on what you're doing? Like you have an airplane playlist and a workout
I don't
playlist?
necessarily call them that, but
Okay.
I do. I don't actually listen to music when I work out. I usually watch TV or something mindless like that. But I do kind of have them organized. Do you do that?
I
as
do,
well?
and I think one thing that's interesting is with the advancement of technology, we've come into this individualized music kind of experience with ourselves. I mean, now we have iPods and headphones and phones that I can walk down the street any day and have my own individual soundtrack for Paul going on, and I bump into Chris and you have your headphones on with your own individual soundtrack, and it's kind of like in a movie where you've got music going on in the background, but everybody's got their own experience,
Yeah.
which I think is pretty cool.
Well, gone are the days where you're like, I don't know if you ever did this, where you would pull up at a stoplight and someone's windows are down, or even if the
Right.
windows are up, and you see them singing along, and then I would like go through all the different
Right.
radio
Try to-
stations to
try
try
to
to
find-
figure out what station they're on. And you can't do
Right.
that anymore because
Right.
everyone's listening to who knows what. So
Right.
that's kind of funny. So we've talked about music as in general and the benefits of that. How do we use it in our senior living communities?
We have several programs that I've seen really have great impact. We have a program called a Namaste program, which is typically in our dementia neighborhoods, and it's kind of a quiet place, a time to relax. We use aromatherapy and soft, relaxing music, comfortable blankets and pillows, and it's really a great way for reducing some anxiety, possibly, or frustration that some of our residents may have. We also
And when you say residents, that's particularly residents with
Memory
dementia,
right.
memory loss issues. Okay.
right, and then in our other, it's used in a variety of ways. We use it for entertainment purposes. So we have a happy hour, or we'll have entertainment for dinners, or sometimes just concerts. Local school choirs and bands and orchestras will come in and play for the residents, and it stirs up a lot of wonderful memories for them. We also have many of our communities do the Music and Memory program, where an individual works with someone who customizes that soundtrack for them. And so they usually get a set of headphones and an iPod, and there may be 10 or 15 songs. For some of our residents, maybe it's Frank Sinatra or something like that. But it just serves to kind of enhance your life along the way. I saw something interesting down at our San Jose community not too long ago. There was someone in there leading a drum circle. So they had, like, I don't know, 10 or 15 different sized drums, and this was one of our memory care communities. And residents that weren't really sure how to play the drum or what to do, as soon as their neighbors started doing it, they kind of picked up on it. And before, 3 or 4 minutes was out, you had everybody kind of drumming in harmony, and you could feel the excitement building. And more importantly, you can just see the expression of happiness on the resident's face. I mean, someone who's, maybe had a fair amount of dementia that couldn't really express themselves in other ways, was able to express their joy through that experience with drumming in the drum circle. So it's really a great experience.
It sounds like a great experience. I've never experienced one of those drum circles, but I've heard about it. I've seen some videos and things. Yeah. But it sounds like it's a fun time.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
And we actually have a company meeting coming up in a few months, or in a few weeks.
And we're doing a drum circle.
Yeah. So that should be fun. I'm going to try to make it over for that. We've got other types of, well, before I get to that, actually, I just saw a comment pop up. Martine says, we've got a resident in Evergreen that does not speak, but will sing to children and some team members she loves. It's so sweet to watch. And she says, you've seen her in action. It's so powerful, too.
Yep. And that's a really a great comment from Martine, where she's seeing that connection, and how music is kind of bringing that resident's life out of her spirit. She's just coming forth with it. It's really a touching thing to see.
Yeah, and I know I've seen. We've talked a lot about memory care, but there's music for everybody, right? In independent living, assisted living too. I know I've seen situations where residents who are musicians like yourself will do concerts for their peers, and so that's a lot of fun. So if you're, a musician, that could be a fun thing to do. We have the traveling musicians coming. Usually once a week, there's some type of live music happening in a community, right?
And especially around the holidays, we get a lot of people coming to volunteer at our communities, church choirs and school choirs. And I always say it's a great place to try out your program before you perform it for public. Come and try it out on us, and we'll enjoy
our
it,
residents will be very forgiving.
That's right.
they're happy to see it, happy to see the cute kids.
And interesting you mentioned about residents playing music. When I was an executive director many years ago, I had a resident, Ben, that played the trumpet. And he would get up every morning, and I could hear him from my office practicing his trumpet. And every day he would walk all the way over to the memory care neighborhood and play the trumpet for the residents, and usually played patriotic music or something like that. And that was his way to give back, in volunteer service to others, by playing music for other residents that lived in that community. So it becomes a great avenue for people to communicate with others as well.
Yeah, I think one of the coolest things that I've seen, music or otherwise, in one of our communities is this program that we did at a community in the Atlanta area with an organization called the George Center. And they did what they called an intergenerational rock band.
Yep.
And so they gave instruments to residents and also to children. I think they were elementary age children. And the kids would come once a week, and they would do rehearsals, and then they actually did a concert at the end of it. And different people were playing, the teacher was playing the guitar, and then the kids would play bells, and the residents would play drums and things. And they had this whole thing. And then they would sing like Katy Perry songs and some like more pop music, but it was fun, and the residents loved it, and the kids loved it, and
it bridged the generation between the kids and the seniors.
And I think that's what's so important with all of this. Music, like food, is one of those things that brings people together a lot of times.
It sure does.
So what else do we have out there? I know we've got these It's Never Too Late computers.
Yes.
Tell me about those.
The Never Too Late computer it's a great senior friendly. Well, it's a computer, but it's preloaded with all sorts of interesting programs that seniors would enjoy. So you'd have everything from travel logs to all sorts of interesting countries, to the ability to do your customized playlists for your resident group. So maybe you're having an exercise class with your residents, and you can go into IN2L and pick up maybe you want 1940s bebop music or something, and you search that, and it'll put together a whole playlist for you very quickly. And it becomes a great tool for our Arbor teams to have great success with what they're doing in leading some of the programs and the activities for our
Yeah,
residents.
and I know I've seen them do like Name That Tune with
Yep.
it before.
Do music bingo and all sorts of great things.
Yeah,
with
just
it. So,
really fun stuff with the It's Never Too Late. And in some communities even name it. Have you heard of
Yep,
this? Where they
I have.
they call them like Smarty Marty or
Right.
something, like a little
Yep.
computer. It's this cute little, we'll have to bring one in or do a show with a clip so we can show you all at home. But this computer, it's like a cart, and it's got a computer mounted on it, and the monitor, I mean, it kind of does have like a little personality to it, because the monitor moves up and down and all around, and they can wheel it to different places in the community and do all sorts of fun
And you
stuff.
can actually set up individual pages for each resident. So a family could send the Arbor community team, here's Mom's 5 favorite songs. We can load them onto IN2L, and then when that resident has some downtime, they can go in and find their page, and they can see photos of family and all sorts of things that have been preloaded
Yeah.
for their use.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and that's for senior living at any level. We've
Everything,
got It's
right.
Never Too Late computers in independent living, assisted living, memory care, all of them. Let's talk for a second about we alluded to this a little bit earlier, but music and memory.
Yes.
So that is a program that we have in several of our memory care communities. How does that work?
Well, this was what I mentioned earlier. It's taking a playlist, if you will, but it's customized to the specific resident. So if I was taking your playlist, I might have some Katy Perry or something else on it, maybe some Christian rock or
Yeah.
whatever. But for one of our seniors that's maybe 85 or 90, it may be a collection of big band music or Tommy Dorsey or Frank Sinatra or something like that. And what it serves to do is just kind of stimulate their mind. And studies have shown that by listening to music from your past, it kind of digs way back into the mind, and then it kind of opens up and stimulates some of that, those memories that are back there. That, I mean, you don't think about anything in your past. You hear a song, and suddenly you remember all the specifics of what happened when you heard that song.
That's
so it's the
amazing.
same type of process that works.
Kind of helps to, and I think
Right.
it helps to calm people down.
It
right?
does.
That's great.
It helps them, sometimes our residents feel alone, and they, haven't yet connected with other folks, and so it's comforting to hear familiar music. It makes us feel better.
It does. And from a dementia standpoint, I know a few weeks ago, Susan Robbins joined us again on the show, and we talked about the different stages of dementia. And what she told us was that I think rhythm is one of the final. You keep that the longest among other things. So you may lose the ability to speak and express yourself, but you could still express yourself through rhythm, right?
And we've seen where staff or families can kind of do rhythm with our very advanced dementia residents, and they can still replicate some basic rhythm sometimes, and it just gives you that sense that that someone's communicating back with you, which is really nice.
Yeah. All right. So finally, just before we go, how can families use music when they visit a family member in senior living?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of times I hear from families, we've got mom and dad living in a senior living community. Maybe there's a little bit of memory issue, and they come for a visit, and they don't know what to do. What do we do with mom when she's there? She gets her food, she gets her housekeeping, she gets her entertainment. So what do we do as a family, especially with some of our residents that can't get out as much anymore? And we found that, recommending something around music is a great idea. So come and getting mom, taking her out to a concert that she might like, or taking out to a church where they have a music program she might like, or bringing in music and listening and saying, hey, do you remember when we sang this as a kid, or the family got together, we did this at church or whatever. So it really just, fosters that same type of concept of, making people feel good. It's like, when you go home and mama's cooking a big dinner and you walk in and you smell the turkey cooking, you're like, I just feel good. Well,
Yeah.
We feel that same way with music as well. So,
Okay. So just figure out what mom likes
Yeah.
and bring it into the situation.
bring some music, or go to a concert, or go to a performance somewhere, or even just sitting in the living room listening to it together, and but connecting with it, talking about it. What do you remember with that song? Asking those questions, and then that kind of spurs that memory to come back to life a little bit.
Is it helpful to ask questions like, what was your favorite song when you were a teenager? Or, what type of music did you listen to?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's got their favorite type of music.
Yeah.
And, it's not necessarily the same for everybody. I mean, somebody in their 90s may like Frank Sinatra. Someone in their 90s may love the Beatles, which is a, big jump away. But asking what really made them happy when they were younger is a great idea.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and, we are into that. I would say most of our residents, and when we play the music in the background in our communities, a lot of times it is that kind of Frank Sinatra, Rat Pack kind of thing, which is 1960s, and Beatles were in the 60s, and so it won't be long before 70s hair music's coming out.
It's coming.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Metallic, rap, it's in the future
it's
for
in
senior
the
living.
future, so we'll just change the channel on that radio and keep it going. So any final thoughts about music today? I've taken up enough of your time, probably.
I think just enjoy it. Just take a stab at it. Put some music on and see what happens. I mean, residents love to dance. They love to move. Just have fun with it.
Okay. Well, we will have fun with it.
Yeah,
we need some music. Licensing, you can't really put music in these shows, but we need some. Maybe we'll get you to come in and play sometime.
All right.
We'll get like a little Casio or something to sit on
Sounds
the
good.
table and have fun with that.
I can play the show off the air.
We could. Well, you know what? We could do if we do that concert that you want to do. Maybe we can live stream that for people to see from all around.
Sounds great.
Good. Well, thank you for joining us live today here on Senior Living Live. As a reminder, we go live every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And if you want to be reminded of that in Facebook Messenger, just type the word SHOW, S-H-O-W, right into the comments right below this video. And when you do that, if you're on Facebook, but when you do that, we will send you a message through Facebook Messenger whenever we go live, so you know. Now, all that said, we've got a little bit of a schedule change that I mentioned earlier. Remember, next week, May 4th, I remembered it, because it's Star Wars Day.
Is it really?
May the 4th be with you. See?
But
people do celebrate that as Star Wars Day. And maybe I'll dress up as maybe that's what I'm going to be doing since I'm not here. I'm going to be dressed up as a Jedi or a Stormtrooper or something. But so on May the 4th, we will not be having a live Senior Living Live show. You're welcome to go to seniorlivinglive.com and watch all of our past episodes, of course, but we will not be live because we are going to be preparing for a special edition live show that we've got scheduled for Thursday, May 10th. That's going to be Thursday, May 10th from one of our communities. Look for details on our Facebook page as we get closer to that. It is going to be a lot of fun. With that, thank you for joining, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.